Hey internet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay or Lijo, and my video for you today is for the thinkers out there is the process of allowing yourself to feel the emotions and why it really is so important. I know this is a little bit in my peacock range of information, but very important to me, especially through this past year, all the same. So we're gonna get right into it. If you'd like to talk to me about this subject or anything related to the cognitive functions, your brain, your journey, you can book a video session with me below on Snug. So here we go. So just to start off, there is nothing more these days that will piss me off than some alleged thinker dominant saying how much emotions are the dumbest thing and all emotions are stupid and emotional people are, I'm like, okay, you're a child. Either that or you're lying. So you're either lying because you don't think it's cool to have emotions or you're a child. And the reason I say that is because as a savior thinker, as a dominant thinker in your top two slot positions, it is more likely for you to meet your downfall by having not addressed emotions, not having a healthy relationship with your emotions or the emotions of others. It is more likely for that to kick your butt than that of the feelers and the emotional people out there. They're going to be fine when the emotions hit them. It's you. You're the one who is not going to be fine unless you learn to have a better relationship with them. So now that I've thrown a little shade on some other thinkers, I'm going to throw some shade on myself because what I was doing wrong as it related to emotions for a very long time was I was trying to use my T to solve F. Many of you know that I had this kind of sense of wonder towards extroverted feeling because I just was put in situations in which I didn't know how to interact in an FE type way. So what I did was try to use my TE to solve FE and, gain tools, gain things to put in my toolbox, right? T's in their toolboxes, let me tell you, and solve feeling versus using my own feeling to be able to relate with feeling. So this is what we're going to do with all of our savior functions. If you have N, you're going to try to solve S by using more N. If you have T, you're going to try to solve F by using more T. While you'll think that will work for a little bit, because it's your savior function, it's whispering sweet nothings in your ear, you'll get to a point when you realize this still isn't working like it should. Like these pieces still aren't fitting together correctly. And that's because you're using the wrong tool to solve the wrong function. By addressing your own emotions, by addressing the emotions of others, by using your feeling function, that is where the freedom actually happens. So let's talk a little bit about how to do that. So number one is awareness. You want to become aware of the emotion you're experiencing in yourself or that someone else is experiencing. Awareness is the first measurement, right? So even if it's like a little tinge of something, like if you're a savior TE and you have FI and you're feeling like, I think that kind of made me uncomfortable, right? Or like, I kind of think I didn't like that. Our default brain is going to be like, don't worry, just roll past it. Let's keep going, whatever. Doesn't matter. So what you're going to have to do is say to yourself, even if I can't address this now, I'm going to kind of remember what this was and try to peel it back a little bit later, or maybe discuss it at a further point, or maybe discuss it right now, depending on what's appropriate. And maybe you're a savior TI or a TE for that matter, and you see someone else who you're like, what was that? And instead of just blowing past it, be like, was that something that they were feeling with? Was that some kind of emotional conflict? Taking a moment to say, wait, what were they experiencing there that didn't relate to the logic realm of things, and just, again, becoming aware of it. So first was awareness, and next is permission. Mentally give yourself or the other person permission to experience the emotion either now or later. Now, you're not going to go to the other person and be like, hey, you're allowed to feel that way. That would be kind of strange, right? But in your head, to tell your own cognitive functions that they are allowed, tell yourself that, right? As it relates to them. Tell yourself, hey, I am allowed to feel sad about this, even though it is not a rational thing to be sad about. And sure, a lot of times the way that we experience emotion is tied back to what we think or what we believe, But the thing is like, you don't have to dive all the way down. Someone is allowed to just be sad, mad, angry, insert other emotions. You're allowed to just be sad, mad, angry, whatever, and experience that as a singular entity without having to always do the trace work of like, what could this possibly... You're allowed to just have the emotion. And that is number 3 overall, which is there are no wrong emotions. There's no wrong emotions. Now, there are inappropriate or wrong responses to emotions, but oftentimes that's actually coming from the savior thinkers who haven't been agile in their use of emotions, right? Experiencing your emotions, processing your emotions, processing the emotions of others is a necessity. Do you want else are necessities? Sleeping, eating. But guess what? If you don't pay attention to your diet and your eating habits over a long period of time, right? You're going to eventually reap the repercussions of not having dealt and managed in a balanced way those eating habits, right? So why not look at your emotions the same way and give yourself permission, have the awareness towards them, and then also the mindset that this isn't wrong. I can have this human experience of going through these emotions and going through them with other people as well. And the beautiful part is especially for me as someone who is FI, my real breakthrough with FE didn't come from me studying FE. It didn't come from me getting all the right tools in my toolbox, right? Even though you guys have heard me talk about that a lot. And those things are useful, but what the real breakthrough was for me was allowing myself to feel my own emotions, was allowing myself to go to some of the darkest places I've ever gone in my life this past year and actually feel the extreme darkness of what that was and process it and not try to throw it away, not try to shove it somewhere else and just sit in that place. And it made me become so much less fearful of other people's emotions because I was just like, yeah, it's real. I get it. I've been there. Like, you don't tell me. Like, I get it. And that really sucks. And that feeling of not having to want to solve the emotion with my tea has been one of the most freeing experiences I've had probably my whole life. So as it relates to function-like things. So I hope this video was beneficial for you, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, internet friends.